Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from Red State, and I saw the tweet about this, which we're definitely going to see in a minute, uh, that says, well, let's just say that Ilhan Omar fancies herself a climatologist. So it's called Noted Climatologist Ilhan Omar says the Earth broke a 120,000-year-old temperature record, promptly gets ratioed. An article is from July 18th of 2023, and I'm just going to say right off the bat that she couldn't possibly know this. It's a scientific impossibility. But let's go ahead and see what the dunce from Minnesota said. So the author of the article says, I live in the Golden State. Again, that's not me. It's the author of the article. So he's in California, where you can't walk 2 feet without running into an amateur climatologist. We just came out of one of the wettest winters in decades. It followed a drought that we were told was caused by climate change, and I agree with that statement, just not the way the climate activists think. And that's part of the climate scam, is that these climate people think everything is because of climate change. Like, I've seen people come out now and be like, they're in Dallas in July, and they're like, it's hot here. It's climate change. And you're like, do you know where you are? Have you been there before? And even people in Phoenix are saying that. And it's like, hello? Like, I mean, it's like going up to Barrow, Alaska, and being like, my God, it's cold here. Well, no shit. That's what happens, especially in the winter. Anyway, let's keep going with the article. It says, the climate changes. Droughts happen, and they happen long before traffic jams on the 405 freeway. Correct, sir. It says, before the Industrial Revolution or the proliferation of oil-burning machines, the climate had changed. It changed a lot. The lost colony of Roanoke disappeared, and its inhabitants died almost certainly because they tried to put stakes down during an 800-year drought. We know this because of tree rings. As in California, notwithstanding the wailing and gnashing of teeth to the contrary, none of California's historical droughts before it was California were the byproduct of too many cars. The climate changed. There were lots of articles about California's worst drought in 1,200 years. That sounds terrible and frightening, but most of those reports were written before California had one of the wettest winters in recent history. Lake Shasta is now full, and yes, 1 year doesn't end a drought. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot that they had floods everywhere. But yeah, okay, and of course, it's like when it's a drought, it's climate change. When it's monsoon season, it's climate change. Everything is climate change. It's like an unfalsifiable premise. It's just whatever you want it to be. Climate change is whatever you want it to be. So let's go back to the article. It says, if you were wondering what happened 1,200 years ago, it says, before that cutoff, there was drought. Before that, in the 16th century, there was a 22-year drought. As long as we have trees old enough to measure tree rings, we can measure drought conditions. And just a few days ago, another writer called Bob, I think it's Hoge, sorry if I mispronounced that, wrote, as with so many things the media sells us, a deeper dive tells us a different story. You are, in fact, much less likely to be harmed by inclement weather than your ancestors. What they also neglect to tell you is that the phrase in recorded history stands for an infinitesimal amount of time. Humans have been recording temperatures and weather phenomena with accuracy for an extremely tiny period in the context of our planet's history, less than the blink of an eye. My grandma said it didn't used to rain so much here doesn't mean a cataclysmic shift has occurred in the Earth's weather. Right, yeah, I mean, just basically taking someone else's word for it. It's like, this reminds me of the whole controversy around Cleopatra, the documentary on Netflix, where one of the supposed experts in this came out and said, like, that my grandma told me Cleopatra was black, so she's black, or something like that. And it was like, that's not proof. That's just someone telling you something. So, and then another writer for the website, Susie Moore, added, the modeling system they use to measure the global average temperature has only been in use since 1979. Hey, that's younger than me. Because while the instrument-based records date back to the mid-19th century, that is definitely older than me, scientists depend on data from tree rings and ice cores to provide proxy data for temps prior. The proxy data tells them it hasn't been this warm since 125,000 years ago. Is proxy data accurate? Not really. Climatologists use data that shows a 0.2 degree increase in temperature averages. That type of finite data wasn't available 200 years ago. There is no way to measure what temperature it was on any given day 1,000 years ago, or for that matter, 12 times longer than that, which is 120,000 years. 12 times, I'm sorry, 120 times. I can't math today. 120,000 years. So it says, scientists can guess, but it is a guess. That didn't stop Ilhan Omar from climbing into her DeLorean and traveling back in time to claim that 3 days this summer broke a record apparently set 120,000 years ago, because of course she would know that, because reasons. Says that's big, if true. Fred Flintstone was unavailable to confirm. If there's anything to like about Twitter, it is community notes. I would fully, wholeheartedly agree on that. And the occasional replies to stupid tweets. So here's the tweet that I mentioned at the very beginning. It says, the Earth just broke the record for the hottest day in 120,000 years. In fact, we broke it on 3 separate days. National climate emergency now. Yeah, you can go F yourself. And then the context here, the community note says the source for this claim appears to be the University of Maine Climate Reanalyzer, which has added a recent notice making it clear that it should not be taken as official observation records. So, yep, good job. And then Adam Krigler, who y'all follow as well, he's a good dude. And then he puts there, and it's basically what this says is, oh, look, you mean during the course of the last 10,000 years, just the climate changes. It's just what it does. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down, and it just keeps doing that. So, yeah, that's what it does. It says Omar squad mate and noted mixologist and climatologist AOC, the smartest person in Congress, warned us that we have 12 years before the Earth is done like a Thanksgiving turkey. Sorry, had. That was 4 years ago, so we're down to 8 years now. Climate activists are gluing themselves to streets, and when they aren't glued down, they're getting dragged literally by the hair by people sick of their antics. Yeah, it's starting to get, if you're one of those climate folks that's doing that, I'm not a fan of yours, but I'm just telling you right now, you're going to get hurt probably very badly very soon by somebody who's just sick of your shit. So be very, very careful. So the article ends, says, I will make a prediction right now. It will get hot this summer and it will be cooler in the fall. That is a stunning observation. I hope he's right about that. The snow will return in the winter. I don't know. Climate change. Says that I didn't need a DeLorean. You're welcome. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about Ilhan Omar's retarded tweet? What do you think about just this whole thing as a whole, the whole climate stuff? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.